Hello again, this is Randy back in the shop today. Starting a new project today. It is an engine build for a customer. I'm gonna grab the camera here and I'm gonna walk over to the block and I'll show you what we got. All right, this is it right here. What we have here is a 1972 Oldsmobile 455 out of a 72 Cutlass. The motor was all together when he brought it over here, and I pulled it apart and had it cleaned. Mic'd the crankshaft in it. The crank was wore some, so I'm having the crankshaft turned 10 under on the rods and the mains. Gonna put the cylinder's got about 6 to 8 thousandths taper in them, so we're gonna bore the block and put new pistons in it, raise the compression some, new connecting rods. It's gonna be hydraulic roller cam. Trying to think what else at this point. I really don't know, but should be a nice piece. And what we're going to start out with first is, see around here, you got all this casting flash all around in the lifter valley. There's an oil return hole right here that's got a bunch of casting flash on it. So I'm going to get a die grinder out and I'm going to grind all that off. You don't need to get crazy with it. Just smooth off, you know, any of the sharp loose edges, and that way you don't have to worry about anything possibly in the future breaking off and falling down into the oil pan and getting sucked up by the pump and whatnot. So I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. I got the die grinder here, and all we're gonna do is come in here. And just take off them sharp, jagged edges like that. All right, got this all deburred. You can see all the rough edges are gone. Everything is blended nice and smooth. Now we're gonna attack this oil drain back hole in the front of the block here. You can see it right there. It's got a bunch of rough casting and stuff on it. We're gonna clean that up also. Okay, that takes care of that. And also we're going to go around the outside of the block. All these casting flash that's on the outside of the block, we're going to clean all that off. On the front, there's some back here on the back. Just give the block a good look over on the outside and see what you see. And any place that's rough like that, just take a die grinder, just smooth it off. You don't need to take a lot of material off, just take the rough, sharp edges off. That's all you got to do. So I'm going to do that next. Alright, the block is all deburred. I went around and deburred all these edges on the pan rail on the inside and out. And these cast parting lines here, I smoothed them all out on the front and the back here on both sides. As you can see right here, I took all that sharp casting flash off of there and over here. And any place where it feels sharp on the outside, just hit it lightly with a grinder with a carbide burr in it. Just take the edges off. That's all you got to do. And everything will be okay. So the next thing on the list is to I'm going to get these main bearing caps set in here and check the housing bore, and then we're going to go from there. I got the pistons and rods ordered. Those will be here probably a week, and then I'm going to fire up the old Van Norman boring machine, and I'm going to bore this, and I'm going to take it back to the machine shop and have them hone it, and life will be good. All right, be right back. Okay, getting ready to put these main caps on. What I always do before I put the main caps on is I take a file, just lightly go over these surfaces, make sure there's no burrs standing up. You don't need to take a lot of material off, just make sure nothing's gonna catch. Do it on both sides, real lightly, and you can see on the main cap register area here where it just slightly polished the material. That's all you want to do. You don't want to take a lot off. And you do the same thing with the main caps. This is the rear main cap here. You just take a file and just run it over the edge lightly. Make sure it's smooth. And if there's no burrs sticking up, and then you place it on the block. Get a brass hammer and tap that down. That's seated. Take our oil can. With a couple drops of oil. And we'll screw them in. Just like that. Another little tip too that I always do is I take and number all the main caps before I ever pull them off the block. And that way you can't mix them up. I lightly clean this one off here, and then I'll get it set down in here. Like that. Like that. And the mains on this Oldsmobile get torqued to 90 foot-pounds. I got a torque wrench set here. I usually torque them in steps. I'll start with 45 first. Go to 90. Okay, I got my bore gauge set already here. We'll slide that in these housing bores and we'll see where we're at. The bearing book specifies the housing bore at 3.188 to 3.189. We'll see where we are here. I gotta recheck this, make sure I checked it right. Right back. All right, we'll try this again. I'm gonna recheck my micrometer. My micrometer was off. And we're reading about 3" 188 and probably 7/10. That one's at about 6/10 over 3" 188. Let's see where the back one is here. This one here is reading 3" 188 2. All right, all looking good so far. I'll get the other two front ones put on. We'll check those. All right, got the other front two main caps put on. I'll grab my bore gauge again. See how we're looking here. And that's about 2 or 3/10 over 3" 188 on that one there. About 3" 188 3. Looks like they're nice and round. So our main bearing housing bores are good. Everything checks out good. It's within spec. The spec is 3" 188 to 3" 189. So we're all good there. So you'll have enough crush on your bearing to hold them in and that kind of thing. So you don't have to do anything with the line bore. Now all I gotta do is wait for the pistons to come and mic them. They're supposed to be 30 over, so I gotta mic the pistons, and I'll set up the boring bar and we'll bore them. We'll bore this block and I'll bring you along. All right, well that concludes it for this part of this video. Thought I'd bring you in for this. It's a little something different, not your standard big block or small block Chevy or LS or small block Ford. You don't really hear of any people really working on Oldsmobiles that much. So I thought I'd bring you along, show you the basics. It's basically the same as any other motor. They have their little quirks. The reason Oldsmobile doesn't like to rev that high is because it's small bore with a longer stroke. This one will be 4-inch 155 bore at 30 over with a 4 1/4 inch stroke. So it's actually the other way of most of your common big block Chevy and small block Chevy stuff. Their stuff is always bigger bore, shorter stroke, and that's why they like to rev. Oldsmobile, Pontiac, Buick are all pretty much the same. So this is the startup of this build. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Maybe you'll learn something from it. And like and subscribe, and we'll talk to you later. Have a good day. See ya. Bye.